recall the heart-stopping moment when the divorce papers landed on my front porch like a brick, heavy, unforgiving, and shattering the illusion of stability I'd carefully constructed over the years. I stood there, staring at the envelope, my heart racing as though I'd just sprinted a marathon. Did my husband truly mean it? I wanted to believe it was some kind of mistake, a glitch in our commitment, but inside, I felt the weight of the last few months, each one laden with silence and distance. Maybe it's time to pack up those summer memories and focus on the future, I muttered to myself, trying to sound resolute. But little did I know, those memories were about to come crashing back, much like the paper that symbolized the end of our life together. If you're listening and have ever found your life unraveling like a well-worn sweater, I'd love to hear how you handled it. Drop your stories in the comments. I know I'm not the only one who's felt this way. Back in March, Peter and I had celebrated our 5-year anniversary. I remember smiling as we clicked our glasses together, wine sparkling under the soft glow of candlelight. I thought I was floating on a cloud of bliss. But between the tenderness of those moments and the divorce papers, there was a creeping shadow I chose to ignore. Long nights of not talking, tentative exchanges, the lurking fear behind each conversation like a ghost haunting the hallways of our love. Those months of silence had lulled me into a false sense of security, a kind of numbing acceptance. It wasn't as if Peter didn't care. He did, but life, work, stress, daily routines, had worn us down like waves against rocks, slowly eroding the intimacy we'd once shared. Yet there I was, second-guessing everything, just wanting to feel like we were a team again, the way we used to be. Once the papers were delivered, I felt like I had pulled on that old sweater, only to discover it had unraveled completely. Standing alongside those frayed threads was my own confusion, guilt, and plenty of what-ifs. Could this really be how our story ended? As if on cue, reality snapped back with the ringing of my phone. It was Sarah, my best friend. I took a deep breath before answering. "Hey, can we talk?" Her voice shimmered with concern. "Yes," I managed to whisper. "I'm coming over," she said, her tone unyielding. Moments later, as I paced in my living room, I could hear her familiar knock. With open arms, I let her in my safe harbor in the storm. "What happened?" she immediately asked, taking in the scattered remnants of our life together around the house, from framed photos of happier days to the empty space that once held a sense of belonging. "Peter. He served me divorce papers," I replied, the words feeling foreign even as they tumbled from my lips. "What, Maria? No, I can't believe this." I launched into the whirlwind of emotions that consumed me. I told her everything, how the laughter faded from our home, how we tiptoed around each other, becoming strangers. She listened, nodding, not interrupting, absorbing the waves of hurt that crashed over me, one after the other. As I poured out my heart, I felt a weight lifting. This was a safe space, a release I didn't know I needed. But even as I unburdened myself, the dark thoughts lingered. "What if it is over?" I asked. "What if he finds happiness without me?" "It's hard to see now, but sometimes endings are just the beginning of something new," she replied, a glimmer of hope threading through her words. That night, Sarah stayed until the stars filled the sky. We talked about old dreams and hidden aspirations, about setting boundaries and finding freedom, and I realized how much I had let myself be shaped by my relationship. In the following days, I took time to reflect, diving deep into that quiet space within myself. I took long walks and even began journaling again, small gestures that felt monumental after feeling stifled for so long. Writing became my catharsis, something that transformed my pain into an art form. But deep down, I was terrified of the next steps. How was I supposed to move forward alone? The thought of being on my own terrified me more than any night in silence could have. It wasn't until an unexpected encounter with an old friend, Max, that I saw a glimpse of what that future could look like. We bumped into each other at a cafe, a place I had gone to write and clear my mind. "Maria, wow, it's been ages," he exclaimed, that beautiful smile breaking through the clouds of uncertainty hovering over me. We talked for hours, losing ourselves in laughter and stories. Max reminded me of who I used to be, the adventurous spirit who wouldn't back down from life's challenges. At one point he said, "How have you and Peter been?" The question hung in the air, suspended by memories. "Honestly, we're done." I felt the tears welling up, but I pressed on. "I've been trying to figure it all out." He nodded, his eyes encouraging. "You will," he said gently, and for the first time in what felt like forever, I believed him. Over weeks, our friendship rekindled and I began to embrace new experiences, cooking classes, hiking, meeting new people. It was as if each new encounter stripped away layers of isolation, revealing parts of myself I had forgotten. Little by little, I was reclaiming my identity, And then came the day when I revisited the envelope. The divorce papers lay there, a constant reminder that my old life had shattered. I gathered the courage to put pen to paper, deciding to write my own narrative that didn't include anyone else's expectations. "Dear future," I wrote, "this is just the beginning. I won't allow the fear of losing love to govern my decisions any longer." I folded that letter, tucking it beneath a small rock on my desk, a physical representation of my pledge to reclaim my story. But the real twist came one October evening. Peter called out of the blue. My heart raced at the sight of his name on the screen. Gathering my breath, I answered. "Maria?" He sounded different, his voice stripped of the tension that had plagued us for so long. "Can we talk?" "Sure," I managed, my heart thumping against the confines of my chest. As the words poured out, I realized that Peter had been on his own journey, one of self-reflection and growth that mirrored my own. We both admitted our failures and regrets, weaving through the challenges we had faced separately. But as enlightening as the talk was, a new truth emerged for me. I had grown stronger without him. I was no longer the daughter, the wife, the person shaped by someone else. I was me. And as we spoke, I felt a sense of closure wash over me. Not in the way of wanting us to return to something that no longer fit, but rather in being grateful for the lessons learned. In that moment, I chose not to rekindle what we once had, but to nurture the seeds of independence I'd planted deeply during our time apart. Months passed, and there I was, a woman reborn from the ashes of my old self. I became more passionate about life, the stories yet to unfold, and the love I had yet to discover. And while Peter may always hold a place in my past, it was evident we were no longer the right fit. Through all that heartache, I learned this profound truth. Love should never cost you your sense of self. You are not just an extension of someone else's identity. You are vibrant, whole, and worthy of a narrative filled with joy, regardless of who walks in and out of your life. So if you're listening and experiencing your own upheaval, remember that the best love you can find is the one you nurture for yourself. The world is waiting, full of unexpected joys and captivating stories just waiting for you to embrace them. I'm so grateful for this journey, and I hope you find that gratitude, too. If you're looking for support, share your thoughts in the comments. And remember, it's never too late to rewrite your story.